to Kainos and the new energy era. Wow, last video we covered this new light wave influx. New light wave influx. What is it and why would you care about it and why would you want to participate in it? We covered that so deeply and fully in the last video. I've got my watch on because I have a client at noon today and it is 11:04, so I cannot talk too long. But I want to cover some quick things. You can use this new light wave influx to get your money right. To get your money right. So our theme for the new light wave influx 2.0 is identity, right? And understanding what identity is, where it came from, and how to move beyond it. We don't want to kill it. We're not killing anything. We are dying without death. What fun we are having, right? So the next video, the in-depth thing we're going to do, the Canada event, will cover it. We'll beat it into the ground until we understand it, is that this identity is a man-made creation from the standardization of the human form that was basically done at the fall of towards the end of the Atlantean era, and hasn't gone through any significant upgrade since then. You have to laugh. Earth is a funny, funny place. Sometimes things catch on and go really quick, and sometimes it takes forever. Lifetimes and lifetimes. You guys wouldn't know anything about that, would you? But today I want to just do a quick thing on abundance, right? I'm going to start sharing some stories I didn't have permission to share. Oh yes, because the age of Aquarius is this new opening that allows me to do so. So I kind of beat down and hemmed and hawed, as I do, about one-on-one sessions and the way people are just moving their stuff around in it. I used to be one of those people prior to God self-realization, prior to meeting God consciousness, and then beginning the years-long process of embodying it. It does not happen overnight. Someone once said, God, I wish I had mystical experiences like you, Lauren. And I told that person, I said, it doesn't matter whether you've had the mystical experience or not. You still have to do the work. The mystical experience just shows you where the work needs to be done. You still have to do the work. What's the work? The work is owning your own garbage. It's sitting down every day and going through the stuff that you need to integrate, the feelings, unfelt feelings you need to feel, the unresolved traumas you need to address through the light of pure awareness inside your body of consciousness. If you don't wake up every single day and look back on the version of you that you were yesterday with like, oh, God, she had no idea what she was doing. She was not very bright. That's the level of growth, the level of change that we're looking at, where you look back on who you were yesterday and you're like, oh, God, she didn't even get it, right? So you're making these huge quantum leaps daily, right? So I'm going to talk about abundance. I've got stories. I've got routines. I'm going to give you as much as I can before I get on my 12 p.m. private client call. I've already been talking for 4 minutes. Got to get it done. Got to get it done. Okay, so prior to God self-realization, I taught the Blue School of Creation Imagery work in 2014 through a series of events, live events that I did in people's living rooms and yoga studios. In 2015, I taught my first new energy creator workshop, and two people showed up. That's how it goes, right? Now we're filling up rooms. We're flying all over the world, first class. It took a while. It took a lot of work and examination. So I was on a backpacking trip, and I was a superstar chambra. If you weren't around, you don't remember. Oh, my spiritual ego was so in the forefront, in the foreground. Spiritual ego. Oh, I did these soul sessions one-on-one. Back then, they were $100 a pop. charged $100 a pop. You gotta laugh, right? But I was doing these sessions, and then as I was doing them, I realized these are just wounded people, and I'm a wounded person, and we're just swirling our wounds around. We're not actually getting anywhere. I was mortified. But how was I going to pay my low bills for the super budget lifestyle I lived at the time? What was I going to do, right, if I didn't do these one-on-one sessions? So I was already kind of like doing these one-on-one sessions for what, $100 a pop, and if someone couldn't afford them, I'd give them away for free. Like some sort of, you know, savior on a street corner. Oh, you can't afford it, I'll give it away for free. I don't even know what I'm talking about. But I started to realize there wasn't a lot of depth to what I was doing. And then I heard the voice of Gnost, knowingness, which is the voice of God. God consciousness says, stop doing this. I had a partner at the time. He was lovely. And we were eating breakfast. And I said, you know what? I just can't do these anymore and look at myself in the mirror every day. Because I'm actually not helping anybody. It's just trauma bonding for $100 a pop. And I mean, I just couldn't even take myself seriously anymore, but I was so serious before then. I knew what I was doing. I was, you know, in all the Facebook groups and had 100 likes on every post that was spiritual ego, Shambhala land, whatever. That's where I came from. Most of you left here do not participate in spiritual groups in any form or fashion, or if you do, you do it from a place of sovereignty and observation. Yeah. So anyhow, I was talking to my partner and I said, I'm not going to do these anymore. I don't know where the money's coming in from, but we'll find out. 3 days later, 72 hours later, I was checking my email. I was with my partner at the time. I checked my email and an old investment came in. An old investment that I had made had come to fruition. And it was so much money. Now, with my repatterned nervous system and how I operate in life now, it's not that much money. But for the person who was charging $100 for a one-on-one soul session with me. This is me showing you what it's like to look back on the other versions of yourself with love and laughter. Like that version of myself, Super Shambhala Lauren, was ridiculous. Do I love her? Of course I do. She got me where I am today. But I look back on it and I laugh. But I got a huge amount of money. Enough money that allowed me to stop working, create a ton of space for God. And this was August 2017. And then by October 2017, I met God. And that's not something I can joke about or beat my chest about, because it was like I was on my hands and knees going, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that you were real. Holy crap. Like tears of humility that I have not lost and will never lose. I can laugh, I can joke, I can be totally obnoxious, but when it comes to God, God is good. God is where abundance lies. You get right with God, you're going to get your money right? So I quit doing these sessions. Oh my God, what am I going to do without this like $1,000 that's coming in every month? Oh my God, right? I spend that at the grocery store in 2 weeks. Oh my God. So I was really worried, and then this huge amount of money came in. I actually used it. Years later, I saved it, I invested it, and then years later, during the pandemic, I used it to buy a huge compound in Mexico. And I ran a little Airbnb surf retreat villa in Mexico, and I just had the best time. Beachfront property, huge compound. Many of you came to visit me over the years that I was there. I learned how to speak Spanish. I went surfing every day. I got to be quite a good surfer. You know, not a professional, but good enough. And I swam in my pool every single day with my dogs. I spent the whole pandemic in pure luxury. I had a full-time gardener, assistant, cook, chef, cleaner. Someone drove me to the grocery store and pushed my shopping cart around. I had like a really nice experience in Mexico until God said, okay, it's time to sell that and do something else, right? So when I listened to God and I said, I hear you, God. Doing these soul sessions is not useful, helpful. It's my spiritual ego. I hear you. It's not helping me. It's not helping other people. This is not my job. I'm on the wrong trajectory. I don't know what's on the other side of that. Unknown unknowns. The great, vast, dark matter of the unknowns. Oh, well, I trust you. I trust God. I trust I am that I am. I know that I know. And so I quit. 3 days later, massive amount of money came in. Something I had invested in a long time ago and completely forgotten about. Now I have some friends who do really well. To me, abundance is not having a bunch of money, right? It's being able to live a life of freedom. To me, money is the signal that I can be and do anything. I can leave a relationship when it's time to go, right? If there's a cause I want to donate to, I'm able to do that. If something happens with my dogs, I don't have to spare any expense on their health care. When I want to go buy nice clothes or mainly experiences, like last summer, not last summer, but the summer before, summer 2024, I went on a safari photo experience in Patagonia. I was able to just write a check and go, right? So to me, money is not about status. It's not about how you look. It's about freedom. It's fuck you money. Like, I don't have to take clients that I don't want to work with, that I don't like working with. Fuck you money, right? I don't have to sweep the floor if I don't feel like it. I can call someone to do that. Fuck you money, right? It's freedom. So, but the people I do know who are very, very, very abundant in all ways, financially though is what we're talking about here today, they have a direct relationship with God. God consciousness, not like this external Christian God that you see paraded all out there, right? But like those who have this deep connection to source know this. God provides when you trust and when you listen. I'm a big fan of prayer, and when I say that, people cringe. Spiritual people cringe. I don't pray for other people, and I don't even pray for myself. I pray to be able to hear God correctly. God, give me the directions and the strength and the wisdom to follow them. Not, dear God, here are my directions on how you're going to make this happen, right? It's listening. Prayer is listening to God and then acting upon it. I saw an interview with Kerry Washington, the actress, recently, and she talks about, you can pray to catch the bus, but you still have to run after the bus that you're late for, right? I'm late for the bus. God, please let me make this bus. And then you run towards the bus. If you miss the bus, it wasn't your bus. But if you pray to God and say, I want to get on this bus, and then you slowly walk there and you miss it, it could have been your bus, right? So you have to act and observe. The observer is where the information comes in, the Gnost knowingness comes in. Action is the real role, the real purpose of this biological body, this human, this identity, right? Is to have this experience with yourself as God, right? It's never about the end product. And I would add to Kerry Washington's beautiful anecdote, parable, metaphor, that once you get on that bus, you prayed for it, you ran after it, you actually got on it, Even if it wasn't your bus, you make it your bus. Whatever you choose, whatever you're going into, you act like it is the best damn thing in the world. People who are successful at business, they believe their product, what they're selling, the book they're putting out there is the best damn thing ever, right? Do they know that there are other things and out there? Do they know that they know that that's not who they are? They're not their business, right? But the most successful people out there go about the world and act like this is the most important thing in the world. Even though they kind of know in the back of their head, this is all a cosmic joke, right? So I did this 3 months with the master's program. I'm just finishing up. I've got 4 people left to finish up the sessions. We're going to finish them up by December. And in this 3 months with the master's program, Morio's whole goal, his whole intent was for each person to create a passion project, something they were doing for the passion of it, not for the spiritual ego, not to make money separately from whatever, but a place for consciousness, the infinite, to express itself through a finite medium. For me, that is the YouTube videos. I'm expressing the infinite through a finite object that is, through a finite reality that is this YouTube channel, right? You need to have an expression for the divine in your life. Whether that makes you money or not is kind of up to you. I just, my business model is here's a bunch of free videos. Come to an event. You could do one of our in-depth programs. Not cheap time-wise, not cheap energy-wise, money-wise. It's full on. I don't play with dabblers. I don't play with people who are wanting to pay me $100 for me to solve some sort of spiritual riddle. No, right? All that aside, I have 2 other businesses which are just passageways for God to pay me for being me, for talking to you all, right? You just get paid for being yourself. It's just there. Now, when I say it's just there, and St. G says it's just there, right? And Moria says, don't even talk about it. Don't even talk about it, because if you talk about it, you're going to ruin it. Happy medium, somewhere in between. It's just there is when the identity gets out of the way. Now, spiritual people are notoriously in poverty, right? And there used to be, when people would go seek a guru in India, the guru would say, if you don't have your money right and your house right and your family right, leave, come back when you do. You got to get that base stuff done before you start to climb the ladder up, right? But a lot of people have like super avoidance of this, because if you're going to set out to be an abundant being, as the age of Aquarius calls for, if you're going to do that, you have to address all the garbage you have inside of yourself. The stuff that is buried so deep that you've been ignoring, acting like it's not there, bypassing it because you don't want to feel it. You don't want to go into those dark edges. So we have the voice of Gnost, right? The one that said, quit doing these soul sessions. You look ridiculous and you're not helping anybody. I actually listen, bam. Every time I actually listen, my dreams I didn't even know I had have been fulfilled, right? The human doesn't even know what's available to it because it's too busy playing in the sandbox. At that time, I was playing in the spiritual ego sandbox. So I didn't know that I didn't have to work to bring abundance into my life, to bring fuck you money into my life. That's my favorite thing to talk about. Fuck you money. It's not so I can buy a fancy car I don't have a fancy car. I have a used Subaru and I love it. It's perfect for the dogs and the horse stables and everything else. Most wealthy people don't spend money on cars because they don't hold value, right? One of my most financially successful friends drives a 1986 Chevy truck. He's like, why would I Why would I buy a fancy car? Doesn't hold any value, right? Besides the point, right? But what I'm saying is you can have that all that Gnost and knowingness, and you can listen to it. Step one. But you also need to look inside yourself, right? I do this through meditation. I do this through movement, through taking care of my body. I'm back to my normal schedule. The other day I recorded, I said I didn't wake up till 8. Nah, that is very abnormal for me. I usually go into samadhi, everything together all at once. The samadhi I go into, I retain a sense of time and space. I don't do the other samadhi where you have no time and space, because it's really hard on my body to put it all back in, to get back into time and space. But what I mean by samadhi is every night about 6, just saying that word sends me into it. Every night between 6 and 9 p.m. it hits. It's God consciousness. It hits and it says, shut everything down. Computer goes shut. Dogs get their last potty break downstairs. We go down the elevator. I'm already like going down the elevator with the dogs. And I go into an altered state, which is my natural state. This is truly the altered state. Talking into a camera is an altered state, and samadhi is a natural state, but I digress. Every time I say samadhi, I start entering it. So between 6 and 9 p.m. every night, it hits. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't watch TV, I can't listen to anything, and I go into an altered state, and I'm combing through everything in my body of consciousness. Sometimes that's a childhood trauma from this lifetime. Sometimes it's a trauma from another lifetime. Sometimes it's meeting God direct. Sometimes I'm in Shambhala interacting and having fun with all of my family friends. I don't label any of those good or bad or right or wrong. I allow everything to be as it is. And I get a lay of the land, and then at 4 a.m., between 4 and 6 a.m., usually 4, right at 4, I go whoosh, and I'm standing up straight. And the dogs and I have the coffee. I kind of get some business things going. I check my accounts. What do I need to move? What I need to do? And then we beat all the traffic, end up at the lake, at a trail, and the dogs and I get a really, really good jog, run in, and I smile the whole way. God, when people are running in the morning, they look miserable. They look like they're constipated. And we're just on the trail like this, because we're fully rested and relaxed, because we went into samadhi instead of this human version of sleep where you stress about unpaid bills, you stress about what so-and-so said, you replay everything that happened to you, and blah, blah. I really want to go into karma and how it lives in the memory, but I cannot get that done today. So one of the things that I realized in this 3 months with the Master's program is no one could get to their passion project. Some people are just now getting to it, some never even got there, is the identity gets in the way. Now your passion project could be a garden. Your passion project could be a children's book that you're working on. Your passion project could be a series of paintings. Oh, one person did do their passion project, the series paintings. You had already graduated, I forgot. But what I realized is most people's, they create the passion project, right? Whether it be a book, a garden, it could be a major business. I have one person working on PowerPoint presentations because that's where she comes from. She's a lawyer. It works out really well. It's not about who's going to see the passion project. It's not about who's going to like it. It's about finishing something in matter. Consciousness descending into matter. But what's coming up in the 3 months with the Master's program is after they've decided on their passion project and what they're doing, all the stuff that hasn't been resolved is coming up to the surface. So now you have to plow through all the gobbledygook, all your own garbage, all your own stories, all your own identity fragments, parts and pieces to get to the passion project. What I see with most people is they go, oh, it's too dang hard. I'm too dang old. And I don't want to look in this mirror anymore. I'm just going to retreat back to living in my little hole or playing in the sandbox. Because it's just too hard to be authentic. Just too fucking hard. To own your own crap every single moment of every single day. To look back on who you were yesterday and be totally mortified at what an idiot she was. And I do that every day. I'm like, oh, I can't believe I thought that yesterday. That was really old and antiquated. Right? Every fucking day. Pranic flow, pranic flow, pranic flow, right? Most people say that's just too much work. I don't want to do it. I don't know what the alternative is. Staying in the familiar suffering is 99% of the population's choice, right? So if you want to use this new light wave influx to really get your money right, which is getting right with God, the two are synonymous. You get right with God, you get your money right. God's constantly giving you information through Gnost or knowingness. I was trying to book my flight for the European tour on Saturday. I was trying to book it online using a flight credit, and it wouldn't go through. And it was like, call the Premier desk. So I called the Premier desk. Thank God I'm Premier. I don't have a wait time. Money buys you access. You don't have to wait on a 1-800 number. You have a direct line to United Airlines. United, I love you. You take such good care of me. Thank you. I'm a huge fan. I've been with United Airlines since I was 16. It was Continental then. I've had my miles since I was 16. Almost 30 years. So I call the United Premier line, right? I get a person immediately. And I'm really annoyed because, you know, you don't want to have to call customer service. You just want to be able to click. And I'm like, hey, I can't book this flight that I want to book with my credit. You know, she's like, let me figure that out. While we were on the phone figuring it out, the cost of the flight went down so much that I ended up getting a refund credit by the end of the call, right? I had forgotten I put some surfboards up for sale the other day, and I got a call and they're like, we sold your surfboards, and it was this huge amount of money. And I was like, oh, well, that's nice. You know, have you ever seen the movie Forrest Gump, right? Someone invested in him in Apple stock. Oh, now I'm a multimillionaire. He's like, right? So everything in this, in the purity of heart that Forrest Gump represents. And I've had a Forrest Gump life too, walking around here autistic, overly generous, blah, blah, blah. But God has always taken care of me. And this is available to you in increasing access during this new light wave influx to really listen to what Gnost, knowingness, your personal God, personal Jesus, right? Personal Jesus. Gnost is telling you advice specific to you for this right now moment. Gnost said, call the United Help Desk right now. I'm like, it's Saturday night. Call the help desk right now. As I was on the phone, the price dropped significantly. Here's your refund. Oh, by the way, Miss Hutton. They don't call me Lauren, they call me Miss Hutton. You know, by the way, Miss Hutton, you got a huge refund. Because while we were talking on the phone, you know, I like to talk to people when I like to connect with people on the phone. So it was a long conversation. You know, it's like, oh, the flight price just dropped. While we were talking, I'm going to send you a refund right now. Oh, by the way, Miss Hutton, your surfboards you totally forgot about, sold, right? This is also about not having a long-term memory. Karma exists in the memory. And I'm going to do a full thing on that, probably in Canada, record it and put it in the store. But I just wanted to add in here that when identity, the middleman of identity gets out of the way, and the person running after the bus that you prayed for is a direct representation of God consciousness, right? All of this starts to work in one cohesive unit, right? People have been emailing me about fields That must be happening somewhere else. I don't know shit about fields. All I know is how God consciousness descends into matter and how matter returns to source. The only field I fucking know about is source consciousness. I have no idea what any other fields are. I don't know what a bot is. I know how to infuse consciousness into this biology. I know what source consciousness is. Anything else, I ain't got a freaking clue. It just sounds like a bunch of mental masturbation to me. Where are your standards? Where the hell are your standards, bot people, field people? How is that working out for you? Where are the standards to show what this is? I'm not opposed to it. If you do not have the ability to infuse this biology with consciousness, with source consciousness, I think it's a beautiful idea to infuse consciousness into the technology. It's probably your karma to do so, if you're being called to do that. Like, to undo all the crap you did in Atlantis, this is one way to undo that, right? But there are no real standards out there. It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. So, right, you can use this exploration of identity and dark matter to get your money right, get your body right, get your relationships right where you're not in relationships that drain you to no end. Walk out without any guilt or shame. Bye. You don't know how to treat me? Bye. So many of us, conscious beings, I'm just figuring this out with a great amount of humility. Oh shit, why didn't I see that sooner? Have kept placing ourselves in situations, poverty, staying in relationships for the illusory safety of the money your partner has, and on and on and on. So many of us have been selling ourselves short for so long, and it's based on identity, karma, and the familiarity of karma. Anything that feels familiar and safe to your nervous system is karma. You have to rewire your nervous system to feel safe in a place of abundance. You have to rewire your nervous system to be able to receive the giant check and not make it a huge thing about your identity. I didn't tell anybody except for my partner who was sitting right next to me. I'm just now telling you. This was in 2017, and I'm just now telling you because some things you keep to yourself. You don't want to tell people you came into a great big amount of money, right? They're going to be like, well, you could do your soul sessions for free rather than $100. You gotta laugh. I mean, I can't believe I ever lived like that. My spiritual identity got hijacked in that collective crimson consciousness, and I totally lost myself in it. I had to really step out of it to reclaim myself, to hear God and be like, this is not me. This is some sort of archetype that has been created by a collective spiritual consciousness. So use this new light wave to see what identity is, what karma is. We'll go really deep into it to rewire the nervous system to be able to embrace unknown unknowns. Unknown unknowns are giant amounts of money coming into your bank account. Unknown unknowns are God saying, hey, have you thought about this? Your human identity would have never thought about this idea, right? And then having the chutzpah and the balls to act on it, to run after that bus like you really actually want it, rather than, God told me this bus was going to get me somewhere. I don't really know. It feels more familiar to like stand back here and do what everybody else is doing. You got to rewire your nervous system. Everything will come in alignment. Your health, your bank account, how you express yourself, how people receive you, who can hear you, how they hear you, will all come into alignment if you do the work. If you're willing to look at yourself deeply every day and be disgusted with total love and laughter at it, right? Oh my God, silly human, I love you so much, get over here, but we're not doing that anymore. All right, I had a one-on-one session and I have to go, but I just wanted to put that in there, right? Use it. Use this new light wave influx. Use this increased access to your Gnost knowingness and this vehicle that is the biology to run after that bus, right? You're not going to run after the wrong bus, right? If it was the wrong bus, you'd miss it, right? So whatever one you get on, you make it right. You don't get on it and be like, oh, God told me this is the right bus. I actually made it. Now I'm on the bus. You're like, how do I get off? How do I get off? How do I get off this thing? I don't think it's right. And you call a friend, do you think this is the right bus? Do you think so? And you tap the person next to you, is this the right bus? Nobody knows if it's the right bus but you. And it is because you're on it. All right. We'll dive so much deeper into it in the coming months. I'm so excited. We've got so much to share. All right.